Sagittarius, welcome to your December reading. My general feeling, what I'm sort of picking up as relevant for December for all signs is around being able to receive, right? This is a sort of a time for many of us of gift giving, depending on your particular religion or spirituality. Many of them, December is a time when gifts are exchanged, even if that gift is simply the spending of time together, right? And many of us know how to give, but most of us are challenged by how to receive, how to graciously accept what is offered to us, even right down to compliments, right? And most of the time when someone compliments you, you evade. So an example of this, I love your shirt. Oh, this, yeah, I got it, discounted. And you don't need to say that, just say thank you, right? So I say this, I say you, but I mean me, right? I'm just as guilty of this as anyone else. I think many of us are very uncomfortable receiving. And we often find ourselves being less than gracious about the gifts that people try to give us, that the universe tries to give us. And so we're going to look at the question this month of what is the universe trying to gift to you, and how do you get better at receiving? How do you improve your receiving game, as it were? So Sagittarius, I'm just going to do a little shuffle here. If anything jumps, we'll take it. If not, we will take 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom. I just saw one flip in the deck, so I'm going to pull that one out. What is the universe trying to give you? The gift the universe is trying to give Sagittarius this month, and what can Sagittarius do to be better at receiving? How does Sagittarius get better at receiving? Okay, and we'll do some clarifiers on this as well, as it is a December monthly read. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on it. So the universe is trying to give you faith, hope, rejuvenation. It's trying to give you perspective here in the 5 of Cups. It's trying gently to give you a message that you should focus on the potential that remains, as opposed to what you feel may be lost opportunities, relationships that didn't work out. You should focus on what you have still remaining. And with the star, we have that wonderful energy of faith and hope and renewal. If it would only focus, you can see her. It's also trying to give you confidence in your ability to support yourself financially. It's trying to help you gain entrepreneurial skills. So there's all kinds of wonderful things here for you. It looks like the universe has some very nice gifts for Sagittarius. So how do you improve your receiving, right? How do you get more comfortable just accepting the gifts that are on offer and saying thank you? This card, in this context, I believe it's speaking to a challenge that you're in a conflict, and in that conflict you struggle. But when you do, your personality, who you are, how you define yourself, becomes even stronger. And I think that this speaks to our question, by addressing the question of self-confidence, right? Sometimes when we aren't able to receive graciously, when we have a hard time being the recipient of a gift, it's because we are feeling less than. We don't feel worthy. We don't feel deserving. And the Chariot is coming in here to say, you're building up that ability to be confident in yourself and the fact that you deserve good things, that you are worthy of gifts, by learning from every challenge that you face, from every situation where you don't feel good enough. There's an opportunity there for you to build your self-confidence. And as you become more self-confident, you will be able to be more gracious in receiving the gifts that the universe has for you. It'll open a space for you. And you really need to trust your intuition here as well. I mean, not all gifts that people try to give us are in our best interest, right? We do have to be aware of that. But the other part is being intuitively aware of where you can learn lessons that help you feel more self-confident, and being intuitively aware of the partnerships that will support you. You can get a good sense, if you trust your inner voice, as to when a gift that is being offered to you is actually in your best interest and when it's not. I really want it to focus there. There we go. So I think what I'm seeing here for you, the keys to you being a better receiver, are to listen to your intuition, really, to understand that you are worthy of gifts, and to be discerning about who's giving you that gift. You know, where is that coming from? I want to just get a little further guidance. I'm just going to use, this is the Modern Witch Tarot, and this is just a mini deck that I have, the Harmonious Tarot it's called. You can't really see it because it's not focusing, but it's this, I believe it's Art Nouveau. I'm not entirely sure of the style, but it's not going to focus. There we go. So that's kind of the style. And I'm just going to ask for a little clarification here. Is there further guidance Sagittarius needs around the gifts that the universe has to give? And we have the Queen of Pentacles coming out here in reverse. It was in reverse when it landed. So what does that mean? How does that clarify the gifts? Well, I think that with that Queen of Pentacles in reverse, you know, it can speak to being a little self-focused, maybe a little jealous of others. I think that part of receiving your gifts that the universe has for you, part of that is in not coveting another's gifts. That is where you are you're open to seeing what is being provided to you, and you're not so focused on looking at the pile of the person next to you, I guess is the best way I can say that. Is there any further clarification here for Sagittarius on the gifts? What should Sagittarius look for to identify these gifts? We have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. I'll show you the card. And that is that's saying don't squander your gifts, right? It's about reckless spending. It's about wasting your resources. The Nine in reverse, and I think what that's just saying is these gifts that are on offer to you, this self-confidence about your ability to earn a living, this gift of perspective to help you focus on what remains as opposed to what may have not worked out in the past, and the healing and the faith and hope, all of that. You should appreciate it, right? People who give you gifts, if you're grateful for the gifts that you receive, they often want to give you more. And if you aren't grateful, they start to wonder if maybe they shouldn't bother to give you more because you don't appreciate what you have. That's kind of a message here, I think. With regard to how you can be a better receiver, I just want to clarify the Lovers. Let me just clarify the Lovers that partnership aspect of being a receiver. Yeah, I guess we can. We've got a bunch of cards that just came out. So we had the Knight of Wands in reverse. Just if I can show you. I know it buzzes a little when I get too close to the camera, so there we go. You can see the Knight. These little cards don't focus so well. So that Knight was in reverse, and that's you know, impulsiveness, recklessness. And then we have the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords in the upright. The Eight of Swords is where we're sort of keeping ourselves imprisoned, refusing to move forward because we're afraid of consequences of making choices. And the Seven of Swords is, you know, kind of a manipulative energy, or it's not always. You know, it's being strategic. It's using what you have at your disposal, every trick in the book, to try to get what you want. I'm not sure how that relates here to the partnership aspect. I think initially I was thinking, you know, this is listen to your inner voice to discern who is offering the gift, and perhaps it's just clarifying that, you know, if the gift feels like a trap, you know, like it's going to make you feel a sense of obligation in some way, then it's not really the gift that's meant for you. If it seems to be somewhat deceptive or tricky, it's probably not the gift for you either. And if it has an aspect of recklessness to it, you know, I think these are all just qualifying how you would identify gifts that aren't meant for you. Yeah, I'm not sure. I wanted to ask, you know, this is sort of the initial part of this month's reading, but I also want to ask more questions regarding the new year, but I think I'll do separate. I was going to make that part of this, but I think I'm actually going to sit down and do separate videos for the new year, and get those out at the end of December, because I really have a lot of questions about 2020 and looking forward, and this is my first new year, first end of the calendar year as a reader on YouTube, so I think I will actually make separate videos for that. Why don't we take one of the Enchanted Map Oracle cards, just to get a little bit more December guidance. I think these ones might be a little shorter this year. I don't think I'm going to do the full-on monthly deep dive that I have done on some of the past months for December, because I believe I will also want to do a rather longer set of in-depth looks for January. You have number 51, Moonlight. There's an owl there. Fairy. Number 51, Moonlight. And let's look that up in the book. 51, it breaks down to 6, which is regaining control, facing challenges. So December may have some challenges for you, but you will regain your control, I think, this month. Moonlight. Your intuition allows you to see beyond the mundane, logical, and analytical. Follow it. Upright. The Moonlight card means that you can come and trust your intuition to lead you into places that may not seem logical. Your hunches will be right on target. Resist second-guessing yourself, for your alternative perspective is especially sharp right now. You can see beyond the surface of things and truly read between the lines. This is a good time to use oracle cards and other systems of divination to gain information. Remember that the language of intuition is a symbolic one. It comes subtly through a hunch or a tingling, a clear sound, or an animal or object crossing your path. Spirit is sending you messages to help you now. Success is yours if you follow the signs. So your intuition, listening to your intuition, is super important right now, it would seem. Let's take one of these affirmation cards. The universe has your back. that. It's a little difficult to do general readings. I think that we could explore many different possible paths from these cards, but I am the loving energy of the universe. So there's support for you in finding your positivity this month, Sagittarius. I believe that that is important as well. I'm not really finding a unifying sense of this reading. I'm going to pull one of Brian Froud's fairies for you as well. Just some general guidance for the month of December. The Sage. Let me see what the book has to say about the Sage. That is number 19. That breaks down to a 1, which is potential and beginnings. That may be also a relevant number for some of you. The number 19. Or 1951. 5119. The Sage represents wisdom, hidden knowledge, old age, patience, retreat. The Sage is also the shaman. Here we see wisdom, deep inner understanding. One of the keys of wisdom is to organize, integrate, and simplify one's thoughts. Complexity often leads to confusion. Simplicity is to be valued. This card signifies mental discipline informed by balanced learning and compassion. Tradition is valued, but appropriate change is accepted. So where are you holding to tradition when it would be more appropriate during December to organize your thoughts and categorize them and maybe make a change or two to your standard approach to things? This Sage also knows when to retreat and think things over. So if you are in a situation where it's just gotten very complex, you may want to step back and show yourself some kindness, some compassion. Reflect on those gifts that the universe is giving you and see how you might approach things differently moving forward. Yeah, the Sage really speaks to you refining your judgment, considering the variables, and then making some potentially long overdue changes to how you approach things. So you can do that with the loving energy, right? You can do that with this insight, and intuitive understanding of what is right for you. I think December might be a lot of sort of reflective time for you. I mean, the gifts the universe brings to you, if you're able to accept and receive, are healing and rejuvenation, a resurgence of hope and faith in your life and your possible futures, and a new perspective really on what potential remains for you and how important it is to look forward and not back. So I think it could be an interesting December for you, Sagittarius. I hope this reading has been helpful for you. Like I said, I think I'm going to do some New Year reflections toward the end of December, so watch for those. We'll also have the weekly videos. Thank you for the likes, shares, and subscribes. If this resonated for you in some way, I'd love to have your feedback, hear from you, any thoughts you'd like to share. And I think that's it. So have a wonderful December, and we'll see you in the next video. Blessings.